friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. Wolfie had a cold this weekend and he's still not completely up to par. So what I want to do is I want to make a soup that is going to help him get over this cold for one simple reason. A, he's uncomfortable, and B, he went back to work. He only took one day off and he should have taken more. Let's just see. Yeah, it might work. I don't know if it's going to core it, but I don't think I'm going to. Tighten this down just a little bit. No, it doesn't want to work that way. So let's just put him down. Yay! Sweet potato skins for the pigs. There we go. All right, we'll be back when I cut these out. Okay, since I'm going to be doing this soup in the crock pot, here it is. And this is a really basic soup, folks. This is more of a nutrient-rich soup that gets its flavor from the spices and the vegetables itself. Now, I have a can of my home canned carrots, and this is why you never leave the lids on your canning, folks, once they've cooled down, because they can rust and get stuck. Then your lid is ruined because you can't use that lid again now because it's all dinted. So once your canning is cool, take these rings off and save them for another day. Oh, another country heard from. All right, now I'm going to use, you can use fresh carrots, fresh peeled and diced carrots if you want. You're just going to need 2 of these jars of chicken broth. But in this case, I'm going to use the juice in the carrots because it's nutrient rich, okay? So we're just going to start by pouring our carrots in there. And then we're going to work on our sweet potatoes. Now the carrots, it doesn't matter if they cook to mush because your sweet potatoes are raw and fresh. Doesn't matter because we're going to puree this anyway. So we just want our sweet potatoes to be fairly finely diced. Now not only is sweet potato nutrient dense, it's very easily digestible. And so if somebody's not feeling well, sweet potato is one of the easier foods to eat if it's, you know, mashed and pureed. It's actually one of the very first foods I gave my children was mashed sweet potato. All right, we'll be back when I have this all cut up. We now have our sweet potato in there with our jar of carrots. And we're just going to open a jar of our home canned chicken broth and dump that all over in top. Now remember, folks, vegetables make their own juice as well. When you cook a vegetable, you're cooking a lot of the water out of it, so it adds to the soup. We want it to be a thick soup because it is supper. So normally I would put 2 onions in this, but I only had an onion and a half, so that's what we're going to put in. Drop that in there. Like I said, folks, this is going to be pureed. All right. Here's the base of our soup. Now, we're going to take a teaspoon of curry, put that in there, and a teaspoon of ginger. Well, okay, a half a teaspoon of ginger. We could always add more, but you can't take it out. Now I'm not going to add pepper because you know Wolfie, folks. He always adds pepper. And we're going to put in a teaspoon or a 4-finger pinch of salt. And then we're just going to put this on low. And we're going to let it cook all day. So we will see you later on when it comes time to puree our sweet potato, carrot, ginger curry soup. Alrighty, I don't know where my hand blender is. I think it got wrapped and got thrown out. But I've brought my crock pot over to the stove and I've just set it on a skillet here just to be safe. And this is what our soup looks like. Now if you want to leave it chunky, that's fine. But I've turned it right down to low. And I am going to put some in the blender. If I can get all of it in, it'll be fine. But Briar doesn't like sweet potatoes, folks. Oh yeah, I wish you could smell the combination of the ginger and the curry. It is just amazing. That's all I think I want to put in there for the moment. And we're just going to give it a pulse. That's why I only wanted to put so much in. Let's try it. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to continue to puree this. I might leave a few chunks in just for aesthetics. But as soon as I get this done, we'll be back. All right, I've gone and pureed 95% of the soup, only because I couldn't get the rest out with this ladle. And we're just going to look at it. I just want to show you how beautiful that is. We're just going to pour this back. This would have been much, much easier if I had a hand blender. Oh, there's my bread's done. There we go. Now, to get the last of this out and to make our soup a little more hearty, I'm going to add about a cup and a half of half and half cream right back into the blender. Just to get that last of that wonderful goodness out of there. And then I'm going to go ahead and stir this right into this soup. Now listen, folks, you don't have to add the cream, but when the temperature's this cold and Papa's coming home, working all day, and he's got a bit of a cold, this can make all the difference in the world for heartiness. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that I turned this down to low and then took the lid off because you don't want to add your cream. Well, for starters, you don't want to try and puree it while it's boiling, and you don't want to add your cream when it's boiling either. Just look how thick this is. Oh my God, that's good. You don't want your cream to separate, so you add it last, just about 15-20 minutes before supper, and you turn it off if it's warm enough. You can see that this is still wonderfully steaming, so I'm just going to leave it on low and put our crock pot lid back on and wait for Papa to come home and take the bread out of the oven. Let's get some soup into you. This is amazing. Alright, I'll just do a little bit of parsley. Look at that. Do you want a piece of bread, honey? This is sweet potato, carrot soup with creamed sweet potato and carrot soup with ginger and curry.
Very good.
Your beard's full. Oh, listen to you, poor baby. I'm going to put some eucalyptus oil on your shirt tonight after your shower. And fill you full of tea and lemon and honey. Here we go. Let's wrap this back up.
Very good.
This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, I'll bet my soups and my teas over medication any day.